illegal alien has now been charged with murder after allegedly, beheading his 50-year-old boss and stabbing him multiple times. But the suspect shouldn't have even been allowed to walk free. He has a lengthy criminal history, including sexual contact with a child, and was previously in ICE custody before he was released by the Biden administration. Anita, this story was almost impossible to read. The details were absolutely horrific.
Yeah, so horrific. And, you know, this is just an example of what ICE has been called to do. They have been called to go out to communities and arrest illegal, criminal, violent aliens. And these are the people who some on the left are defending. I mean, this is an example of another family that is left without a father tonight. They're left without a father, a husband, a brother, a son, because the life of this man was taken by someone who should not have been in the country.
Allegedly, he was from Cuba, I believe, or something. I think I saw, did it say where he was from? I think I saw something else where I believe it said he was from Cuba. Anyway, the actual video of that is online to watch. Unfortunately, I actually watched it, and yeah, it's pretty graphic. It's really, really graphic. When they say he took the man's head off, he actually did. That is real, and it is the wildest thing to see. Don't go searching for it, because you will actually come across it. Unfortunately, I came across it. Whew, man. So thank goodness he will be deported, because that is unacceptable in our country. Just because you disagree with somebody, you don't get to do what that man did in broad daylight, just casually, machete, you know, going at it, while the man's wife is there screaming, watching it happen. Obviously, there was nothing that she could do, you know. Man, absolutely wild stuff, man. Condolences to his family, because that is just crazy. I know that wife has to be absolutely traumatized. But ICE is doing their job. ICE is doing their job in deporting these types of folks. But then also, Stephen Miller had something interesting to say recently. Check it out.
Yeah, so I believe what you're referring to is there are these nonprofit entities that organize, as the president mentioned, attacks on ICE officers, attacks on Border Patrol agents, organized doxing campaigns, which are a violation of federal law. They break off cement and they bring into riots. They have organized drop points for weapons, organized drop points for gas masks, organized drop points for all the materials necessary to launch a riot. And of course, you saw that during the Black Lives Matter riots as well, too. So there's this whole network of organizations. And I think the key point the president's been making is somebody is paying for all of this. This is not happening for free. And so under the president's direction, the attorney general is going to find out who is paying for it, and they will now be criminally liable for paying for violence.
Love it. Love it. Investigate and prosecute the person who is paying for all of this nonsense, because it's most definitely being funded, for sure. But carry on.
But a Seattle area high school teacher has been taken into custody by the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, the agency said on Tuesday. Now, what happened was I saw this, and it was a theater guy. It was a theater manager for Juanita High School. Fernando Alves Roca, 45, of Brazil. An illegal alien was apprehended on July 15th in Monroe, Washington, after overstaying a tourist visa. According to ICE, Alves Roca is actively wanted by law enforcement authorities in Brazil for an alleged theft he committed before fleeing to the United States. Okay, wait a second. This guy was working in a Lake Washington public school. This guy was working at Juanita High School. How did he get hired? It's one thing to say, here's my green card, and here's all my proper documentation, and here's all this kind of stuff. But a Seattle area high school teacher...
An illegal working in a high school amongst children. Of course, it happened in a Democrat place. Not surprised by that, right? Now, here's a funny clip. Allegedly, this lady here stopped to record ICE. Well, when she stopped, because she was driving by, right? After she stopped, she forgot to do something that was very important. Let me know if you could figure it out.
Well, that sucks. Look at this, Lucy. Her car got lost. Well, that sucks.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Now, I'm glad it looks like everybody's okay. Okay. It doesn't look like, she's panicking or anything, like there's somebody in there or anything like that. But that is hilarious. Oh, she saw ICE doing their job and she just had to stop. Ooh, I'm going to record them. Yeah, you can record them, but now we're about to record your car floating down the river. Oh, man. That is hilarious. Hilarious, man. Absolutely hilarious. Once again, I'm happy she's okay, right? I'm happy that she wasn't in the vehicle when it began floating down the river. But just the car itself, yeah, that one's hilarious. Just the car by itself is hilarious, floating down the river. Forgot to put it in park, huh? These folks, man, see, and that's why you should mind your darn business. Because if she would have minded her business, she would still be heading on down the road in her vehicle. Now she gonna be heading down the road, but it ain't gonna be in her car. She gonna be Miking and Iking. Mike and Ike. Ooh, boy. Man, that is hilarious. Hope she got some good insurance.
Le voy a enseñar mi papel. Le voy a enseñar mi papel, que no es eso.
Okay, let's outside.
El rojo no es.
Come on, okay, come on. There's no problem.
El rojo no es.
Okay.
Es el gris.
Okay. We're fine.
Yo no tengo
No pistolas, nada?
No, nada. Ahí tengo la llave de la...
Want to leave your keys here?
Tengo mi... El rojo no es mi carro, usted lo sabe, don Santo.
Face one? Yeah, I can try it. You want to try it?
Come on, son. You gotta learn to speak English, bro. You gotta learn to speak English. That should be like bare minimum, right? And even folks in Mexico have said the same thing when Americans come to Mexico or try to move to Mexico. You better learn the language. I literally posted a video. This is quite a while ago. I don't know, probably 2 months ago now, where people in Mexico City were protesting because Americans had moved there and they didn't want to learn the language and they were jacking up the prices on everything. And they were like, bro, first off, you don't even know the language. And second, y'all making living here way too expensive. Y'all got to go. And listen, I can't be mad at them. I cannot be mad at them. If you want to move to that country, you need to learn that country's language and adapt to that country's way of living. I'm just saying, it's simple. It's simple. It goes both ways. I ain't no hypocrite.
Where an ICE operation has turned deadly. CNN's Priscilla Alvarez is following this. Priscilla, what have you learned?
Yeah, Brianna, recall that the administration has surged officers to the Chicago area where they have been conducting immigration enforcement operations. Well, we're learning that this morning one of those operations turned deadly. Here's what we know about what unfolded in the Chicago suburbs, according to the Department of Homeland Security. Immigration and Customs Enforcement had participated in a vehicle stop of a driver. That driver, they say, had resisted arrest and had tried to drive off, and when they did so, was dragging an agent who was involved in this operation. The agent who was being dragged by the vehicle then was prompted to open fire. They shot that driver, and we are told by the Department of Homeland Security that they are deceased, and the agent has suffered serious injuries but is in stable condition. Now, as far as who this person is, is, according to the Department of Homeland Security, this is someone who is in the United States illegally and had a history of reckless driving, but it's not immediately clear when he came into the country, what his nationality is, or really anything else about this individual's record other than what the department has said, and that we now know that he is deceased after this incident unfolded this morning. Now, in a statement, Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin said the following, quote, "We are praying for the speedy recovery of our law enforcement officer. He followed his training used appropriate force and properly enforced the law to protect the public and law enforcement." She goes on to say that viral social media videos and activists encouraging illegal aliens to resist law enforcement not only spread misinformation, but also undermine public safety, as well as the safety of our officers and those being apprehended. Now, generally, after a situation like this, there would be an investigation at the local and the federal level to ensure what the department is saying here, that it was justifiable for the agent to open fire. So that will be answered in the weeks to come as they do their own investigations. But as of now, what we do know is that this officer has suffered serious injuries, and that the person at the center of this operation, who the administration says is an undocumented immigrant, is now dead. And again, Brianna, what was an immigration enforcement operation in the Chicago suburbs that now turned deadly.
Priscilla Alvarez, thank you for the latest there. And next.
Absolutely tragic, man. Absolutely tragic. Rest in peace to that brother there. Rest in peace. And condolences to his family as well. You know, because once again, and this is consistent, just because you're in this country illegally doesn't mean that you should die, right? Now, obviously, the officer himself was in a really, really horrible situation, so I'm not even necessarily blaming the officer. That was a no-win type of situation, you know, because it's got to be hard on you to know that you took somebody's life too, you know. That's not an easy thing, right? So, man, it's a no-win situation, and you know, we got to call a spade a spade. It's in part due to Democrats fear-mongering folks. There's no reason to run or fight ICE, bro. You're just going back to your home country. That is it. That is all. They're not here to beat you up or do anything crazy to you, torture you, or anything like that. They're taking you to a facility and deporting you back to your home country. That is it. But Democrats, of course, oh my goodness, you know, they're rounding people up and disappearing them. You know, when you're spewing that kind of stuff, of course, you're going to put fear in some folks' minds. Like, man, what is going to happen to me? And then you have stuff like this, where I'm sure the guy who tried to run was genuinely scared. And it's a shame, because he shouldn't have been. He was just going to get deported back to his home country. That is it, and that is all. Matter of fact, ICE might have gave him the option to say, you know what? Hey, if you want to self-deport, we'll give you $1,000 in a plane ticket back home. So he might have got paid. Man, rest in peace.
Get out, man.
Operation Midway Blitz is surging in the Windy City. Fox cameras were rolling early this morning as ICE agents served a criminal arrest warrant on this Mexican national facing charges of assault and re-entering the U.S. on multiple occasions. Officials say he will be federally prosecuted and could serve jail time before being deported.
This is an opportunity for us to go into sanctuary cities and work against these sanctuary city policies and not let them deter ICE from being able to do our work.
On Monday, Fox got an exclusive ride-along with ICE's deputy director. Her agents apprehending a 43-year-old illegal alien from Mexico, convicted last year of sexually assaulting a child with force. He is facing a swift deportation. The operation was launched in honor of Katie Abraham, a young Chicago woman killed in January, allegedly by an illegal alien from Guatemala accused of driving drunk. He is now awaiting trial. Katie's father, heartbroken and angry at Illinois leaders refusing to work with the Trump administration.
It doesn't have to be one extreme or the other, and you don't go to your corners. If that's leadership, we have no leadership then.
Democrat Governor J.B. Pritzker, along with Chicago's Mayor Brandon Johnson, are mounting a fierce resistance to the federal crackdown.
Yeah, There's absolutely zero leadership. Zero. Trump has absolutely broken the Democrat Party. Absolutely broken them. 1,000%.
The push to ban face coverings for federal agents operating in California is heading to Governor Newsom's desk. This week, the state legislature passed 2 measures cracking down on immigration enforcement. That includes the No Secret Police Act. This prohibits any law enforcement officer, local, state, or federal, from concealing their face. They also passed the No Vigilantes Act, which expands existing laws against impersonating law enforcement and requires all officers to visibly display their ID. The push to ban...
Absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Once again, Democrats can go above and beyond for people that shouldn't even be here, for illegals, but they couldn't do that for their own citizens who are living out on the streets, homeless, with barely enough to get by on a daily basis. They can make sure that they push bills all the way through to protect the illegals, or to attempt to. Couldn't do it for the American citizens who voted for them, though. Crazy how that works, ain't it? Anyway, y'all get in the comments. Let me know your thoughts and your opinions about all of this. I'm excited. Seems like ICE is still doing their job, you know. Things are still operating at warp speed, so I love it. I love it. Peace and love. I'm out.